Skyrim. A land of peace and prosperity. A land where nature sits still in bated breath. A land where absolutely nothing violent ever happens. Well, mostly never happens. Okay, I guess it's time for our annual combat update then.
Before we get into this episode, I want to give a massive thanks to Surfshark VPN for sponsoring this video.
The following is a safety protocol by Heavy Burns Incorporated.
When active online, one of the most important things to consider is your internet security, and that's why our friends over at Surfshark are offering us a massive 83% off and 3 extra months for free when using code HEAVYBURNS at checkout. But what is Surfshark? Well, Surfshark offers a virtual private network through an easy-to-use app or browser extension that will protect all of your data while traversing the internet. Your account can be accessed across an unlimited number of devices and can even access content that otherwise would be hidden behind other countries' limitations. And while using Surfshark, all of your data is completely encrypted, meaning you will not leave a single trace no matter what you do. And they're even offering us a 30-day money-back guarantee. So click the link in the description, use code HEAVYBURNS at checkout, and you'll get 83% off, plus 3 months for free. It doesn't really get easier than that. Thank you once again to Surfshark for making videos like these possible, and without further ado, let's get into the episode. Last year, I made a video overhauling Skyrim's combat, and in that video I said there might be more mods released that rival even what we had at the time. Well, already, since that video, there has been a whole new generation of combat synergies, and it starts with True Directional Movement. True Directional Movement works as a base to our entire system, and even on its own introduces a plethora of new features which will revolutionise combat in a pretty significant way. So let's go through each one of these features one by one to give you a better understanding of how incredibly revolutionary this mod aims to be. Directional Movement is a feature which is designed to unlock the direction the character is able to move, run, and perform attacks while they have their weapon drawn. This means you can instantly turn around to fight an enemy behind you without having to spin the camera as you would in vanilla, and it even works with sprinting too. Next is Target Locking, a feature which has been adopted by a huge amount of modern combat games in recent years, and it's safe to see why. What this feature does is seamlessly allow you to lock on and then switch between targets while in a combat state, and this is designed to go hand in hand with the directional movement. Next is Floating Health Bars, a visual addition that provides the entity you're targeting with a floating user interface above their head, which displays their name, shows their health, and even has a nice yellow flash showing you the damage you dealt after depleting with each attack, which is a nice touch and one of my favourite features. Head tracking is a feature many of us Skyrim mod users will be familiar with, but this is sort of an all-in-one package, forcing the player to look directly at a variety of things, either who you're currently target locked on, who is speaking to you in dialogue, or just wherever you're choosing to look with the camera for a more general use. Projectile aim support is a feature you actually see in a lot of games, but you just don't notice it's a thing. And what this does is whenever you're locked onto a target and using any ranged attack like magic or bows, the projectile fired from the attack is aimed towards the predicted target's location, which on its own instantly mends the third person ranged issue in Skyrim. Each of these features aims to work hand in hand with one another to create a fun and modern third-person combat experience. And when I say this, I mean it. I've never until now had this much fun and satisfaction playing in third person, and I believe this mod makes up for like 80% of that feeling, so I would definitely recommend it. Finally, just a side note, it also introduces extra features such as boss health bars to make those encounters feel more epic and deserved, full camera control when riding horses, And super finally, some extra capabilities to swim up or down while underwater. And I would really recommend trying this for yourself to understand how much better this feels. Now, while having all of these new features from TDM is fantastic, there are a few more mods which work with it pretty well, starting with SkySA, a mod which acts as essentially a framework for modern attack commitment while in third-person perspective. And what this means, for dummies like myself, is that whereas before attack animation and movement are two completely separate things, meaning you can move anywhere while performing an attack, causing the infamous ice skating effect, now, with SkySA, there is movement data built into the very attack animations themselves. This means you are step advancing in the direction of each swing. This does mean you have to be more calculated about when to attack and when not to, as once you do, you're committed into that movement, which actually works well for a more interesting and less spammy combat system, especially when you pair it with whatever your preferred dodge mod currently is, whether it's the ultimate dodge mod, TK dodge if your game isn't script heavy, or whatever you prefer. I'll leave a link to a few in the description and you can decide for yourself. But the next thing I wanted to cover, although it's not combat focused, is actually a user interface replacer that goes by the name of Nordic UI, which reskins everything starting from the main menu. The skill up notifications, new health, stamina and magicka bars, every single map icon, the skills menu, and obviously the general journal, inventory and magic interface, to give them a more modernised and clean look while still keeping to the Skyrim Nordic theme. And with a combination of Nordic UI, true directional movement, SkySA and a dodge mod, I'll let you decide the changes for yourself in the best way I know how.
You don't see that every day.
That's it?